All right, hello everyone. I am the Wicked Witch of LA. You'll find me here on Instagram and also on YouTube. Today I was going to make something here at home, for personal use and for clients also, but I kind of thought maybe I could share with you guys. Kind of share what I do, how I make it, and yada yada yada. So, today I was going to make a healing oil for the body, the mind, and the spirit. Kind of like an all-purpose healing oil. And I brought out a couple different herbs because maybe I can kind of show you guys how I make it, and then of course you can make it as well and however you'd like. So a couple of things you're going to need. You're going to need a glass jar. Now you can use plastic. Plastic is a-okay, or if you want to put in like one of those like little like long tin containers, you can. If you're going to be doing like an oil like this one, you just want to make sure it's something that the oil cannot seep out of, that the oil can't like leak out of. So a glass container with like a tight lid, like a mason jar, would be perfect. I'm using one with a cork today. I mean, I'm not going to be like, tipping it upside down for prolonged periods of time or anything. So this is just so I can make the oil and then pour it out when it's ready to be deposited into separate vials. So if you want to use like a cork like this, it's fine. You can make that noise. Let's do it one more time. Oh, that's so satisfying. And yeah, so you'll also need some oil, of course. There's different types of oil that you can use. The three most common oils that I see are grapeseed oil, like I have right here. I got this literally at a Food for Less. It was like $3 for all of this, so pretty nice. I like that it's light. It's a nice light airy oil. It's it's a little clear, and it's nice to work with. And then I have olive oil in here. Olive oil has been used for centuries, and it's known as a holy oil. It's definitely filled with beautiful energies and properties, but it is heavier. It is a lot heavier, so keep that in mind if you're looking for something a lot more lighter. And there's also canola oil. Canola oil is a little bit more clear and also pretty light, so you can also use canola oil and also coconut oil. Now, I personally don't use coconut oil because if I'm working with a client or if I'm, giving this to someone, people have coconut allergies. So you can use coconut oil, but just, be aware that there are people out there with coconut allergies if you're making this for someone else. But of course, if you're doing this for yourself, by all means. So, a couple other things that you're going to need is herbs. Herbs. You can use herbs, you can use flowers, barks, resins, essential oils as well that all have healing properties. So you want to gather whatever you have to make this oil. Now, I'm not going to use all these herbs that I have right here in front of me. I'm going to kind of show you what they all are, but I'm not going to put all of them in here. I'm only going to choose a few. And it's really just to show you guys that there's such a variety. I mean, and there's way more than this. There's a plethora of different herbs, resins, essential oils, everything that has healing properties. So I'm going to share a few. I have some here that are a little bit more commonly found. Some of these I got at my local grocery store, supermarket. And some of these I found at dollar stores. So there's also that. So never feel like you need all of these. If you only have just one of these, that's all you need. And at the end of the day, you also have your intent. I'm making this oil, and if I wanted to just charge the oil with just my intent, you can also do that. There's nothing that can stop you. If your intent, if your want is to create this oil to bring healing to someone, it'll have that energy. And of course, herbs and all that, that's extra boost. Those are just boosts. If I were to put all of these in here, I'd probably just have like a super healing oil. But more isn't always necessarily better. You want to carefully choose your herbs. Look at the herb. What is it doing? What specifically does it do? Because even though all of these have healing properties, it's different forms of healing, different types of healing. The amount of time for the healing to come, every herb is different. It's just like people. Different people do things at their own pace, at their own, I guess, like level of potency. Same thing with the herbs. They all have different levels of potency. So you want to curate and choose carefully for what works best for you. All right, so to start off, I do have like I said, a couple of things here. Probably the most common ones that I have here that you can find at any grocery store, any supermarket, even dollar stores, are bay leaves, which I have right here. So these are dried bay leaves. These do have some very, very nice healing energies. Very, very nice. Also cinnamon. You can use the powder or the stick. I have sticks here of cinnamon. There's also chamomile. You can find chamomile everywhere. If you go to the store, if you happen to have chamomile tea, pure chamomile tea, make sure it's not mixed in with anything else. You can just rip that open and pour, usually it's very crushed like it is down here, very finely milled. Rip that bag open. You can use that. Chamomile tea has very nice healing properties. So does lavender. Lavender is one of my favorite herbs. It does have so many correspondences to it. I love using this stuff and it smells amazing. Chamomile and lavender, unique forms of healing. It's a lot of emotional healing. They do have some physical healing properties, but it's very emotional, very spiritual healing. And it's very easing. It kind of helps ease the symptoms. So keep in mind that is kind of the unique side of the healing of chamomile lavender. And also eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is similar. It's very good at easing pain, easing the symptoms to promote the healing. So again, there's eucalyptus. I got, you can buy these at a lot of grocery stores, kind of like the dry leaves. And they kind of just look like that. Now, all of these do have essential oil counterparts. So if you don't have the dry leaf, you can always purchase the essential oils. Just make sure that they are the real essential oil, not a synthetic fragrance. You want to make sure it came from the plant. It's the plant that has the properties. Spearmint, also wonderful for healing. Really, really good for like sicknesses, bacterial infections, things like that. So these are pretty ground up. But yeah, they kind of just look like that. Also smells wonderful. And again, if you're having trouble finding the whole leaf, you can go to a Target, you can go to a Walmart, you can go to a tea shop and just buy the leaves. You might happen to have spearmint in your cabinet right now in a tea bag. Rip it open and use that. Rosemary. Rosemary is probably one of the easiest ones to come by. You can go to any food store, and you'll find these in small containers. It's an herb, so it's used for cooking. You'll find this everywhere. Rosemary is great has lovely healing properties. And the essential oil for this is also available in many stores. And I already went through bay leaf. White sage. Now, when you think of sage, people think of purification. Yeah, it does that. But what people don't know is that sage has powerful, and I mean really powerful, healing properties for the body, the mind, and the spirit. It's a little all-in-one. And I do love the smell of sage. Again, this does a little bit of everything. So throw some sage in there, if you're making your own oil. Because this stuff, again, this is probably one of the stronger ones of all of these three because it covers a little bit of everything. So whenever I make healing oils, I do pop in a little bit of white sage because it does cover multiple bases. And lastly, probably one of the harder ones to find is agrimony. You can find this at metaphysical stores, and you can probably order this online as well. But agrimony is great. It does have some very nice healing properties as well. So you can always use agrimony. I don't know if there's an essential oil of this, but if there is, you're more than welcome to. And I do have one essential oil here, and it's frankincense. Good old frankincense oil. Frankincense does have some nice healing properties, very soothing properties. It's known as a holy resin along with myrrh. So really, really great to kind of like consecrate to bless your healing oils or any oil that you have. So in order to make this oil, I'm going to start putting in my ingredients. Now, I do have a mortar and pestle, and I could crush up everything into a fine powder. With oils, I don't like doing that. I kind of prefer to just dunk the entire thing, the whole leaf, the whole herb, into the glass container and then pouring the oil over. That's my preferred method. Of course, you may do things however you please. So I'm going to start off with some white sage, just a pinch like that. And I did drop a few. Wow. I don't like letting things go to waste, so let's just grab these guys. Maybe just a little bit more. There we go. I do want to use bay leaves. And I do like doing things in threes because, there is the power of three, power of manifestation. Let's do 1, 2, 3. I do want some lavender. Sprinkle a bit. And while you're doing things like this, especially healing oils, when you're taking the herb into your hands, charge it. Me, every time I grab it, I kind of like just think about what it is that I want this herb to do. These all have healing properties. So in my mind, I kind of just, just in my mind, I'll just say, thank you. And, of course, you can thank any deity or just thank the plant, thank the earth. So, thank you, earth, for this herb. Thank you for the healing powers that it possesses. And I ask you, may you bless this oil with your healing powers. It could be as simple as that. Every time I pick it up, even if it's just a quick pinch, that kind of goes through my mind. You charge the herb, you activate it. You kind of, because again, these all have more than one correspondence. All herbs have more than one, magical correspondence that they can do, they can perform for you. So you, in a sense, you want to assign. You want to give it that assignment of what it is. Otherwise, it's not going to know what you want. So you want to be specific. Now I'm going to go in with some eucalyptus leaves. I'll do 1, 2, and 3. You know what? I'm going to go crazy. I'm just going to use all of them. I already have them out. Actually, you know what? I'll just stop with this one. So let's get some rosemary in there. Again, rosemary is fabulous for healing. It's a very all-purpose herb as well. It does a lot of things. Heals, protects. It's a great substitute. So if there's an herb that you're looking for, you don't have it, rosemary does make a great substitute with the exception of baneful work. And I'm going to put a cinnamon stick in there. Cinnamon does have some healing properties, so I'm going to break off a few bits of the bark. 1, 2. There we go. And then I'm going to take my frankincense oils. I'm going to put in 9 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. I can tell you this already. This smells and just looks very pleasing. Very aesthetically pleasing. Oh yeah, that smells lovely. All right, so once you have everything in place, you're going to take your oil and you're going to pour it right over. So I'm going to take my grapeseed oil, and this is actually canola oil and grapeseed together. And carefully, because it's easy to make a mess. I'm just going to pour that right over. There. Really going to secure that. And there you go. Look how beautiful that looks. That is gorgeous. All right, so I'm going to give this a good shake. Shake, shake, shake. Really activate it. This is, you're making things happen here. You're putting your intent, you're putting your your energy into this. You know, I feel like I just sounded way more intense, but you know, it is intense. Shake it, wake up the energies, wake up this, you know, if you're someone that works with the spirit of the plants, wake them up. You know, you can say a couple things over it. You know, for me, I like to just say, you know, this oil is going to bring healing to the body, the mind, the spirit. Whoever comes across this oil, whoever bears this oil, uses it for their practices, may they encounter healing in the body, healing in the mind, healing in the soul, to whomever it comes in contact with. Blessed be, so mote it be. That's how I do it. You know, it doesn't have to be a crazy ritual or anything. You know, simplicity has a lot of power in it. Very, very nice. So, when take it a little note. If you're using corks like this, if you leave it upside down for a prolonged period of time, the oil can seep through. Corks like this, they are porous. So if you leave it upside down, if you leave it on its side, it'll absorb into the cork and it can leak out. I will not have this on its side or upside down, so I don't mind too much. But basically, once this is done and cured properly, I'm basically just gonna use a little funnel to deposit it in smaller vials. Now, when you're doing jars like this, normally I will let this sit for approximately 2 weeks. That gives the oil time to really extract everything from the plants. So at the least 1 week, but I think 2 weeks is I've noticed gives me the best results. So after 2 weeks, you can definitely start using this. So this is basically gonna go into my shelf out of the sun. That's another thing. When you are making oils, you have to keep them out of the sun. Keep it in the sun and it will spoil. It'll grow bacteria and it'll grow bad. All right, sorry about that, everyone. My camera decided to just turn off completely. So, as I was saying, these do spoil. So make sure that you're keeping these out of direct sunlight. If you do have access to older wine bottles, for example, these are called amber glass bottles, and you'll notice that essential oils come in the same, really dark. These are designed to keep sunlight out and to prevent spoilage. Another thing that you can do is add vitamin E into your oil. Vitamin E is great to prevent spoilage in oils. That's why I kind of like using this grapeseed and canola oil because they naturally have a lot of vitamin E in them already. So it does help with the longevity of it. Now, if you do store this properly, it can last you up to 6 months, really. So just make sure that you put a date on them. You know, I'm going to put a date on this for today, and then I know that 2 weeks from now, I can pull it out and it's ready to use. And yeah, that's pretty much it for making this. Now, there are a couple things that I like to do afterwards to really draw in those healing energies. And I'll get just a little tea light candle and I'll kind of just place it on top. You can place it on the side and kind of just let that burn down. Again, white is wonderful. It does promote healing. So I do like to have that burn down to really draw in those healing energies into the oil. If you're someone who does like to work with tarot cards using the energy of the tarot, the Ace of Pentacles is wonderful for drawing in healing. I'm gonna sweep my area real quickly. There we go. And yeah, so I'm going to light this. And I'm just going to have my Ace of Pentacles right here on the side. And then once that candle burns down, she is going to be ready and I'm going to store her away. And that's it for today's healing oil recipe. If you guys have any questions or anything of the sort, you can always send me a message here on my Instagram or on YouTube. I'm going to upload this video on both, so wherever you are, you can just jump to the other platform and send me a message if you have any questions of any sorts. All right, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you in the next one. Blessed be, witches.